Hey everybody, welcome back. For those of you that have joined us on our YouTube channel, Doug Remer Sports on YouTube, Doug Remer Sports, Remer. Thanks for checking us out, subscribing. You know, these videos have been a blast to put together. I'm very thankful for Renee to have this ability to, what he says is very easy for him, I think is impossible. So thanks, man. I see you over there. He set me up tonight, every night. This has been a fun venture that me and my coaches have been involved with. So if you're involved with it as well, just keep expecting more, and then you're going to be a part of it more too. But before we get to everything, because, you know, I can always talk ball and there's so many different topics to cover, tonight we're going to talk about something that's very, very true and dear to me, something that I have created that has been built for many, many years. It's a combination of all the experiences that I've had, that I've witnessed, that I've been a part of, that I've lived through, that I've seen, heard, in all different facets. In over 20 years of coaching and 20 years of teaching, I kind of combined all the different philosophies and teaching styles and coaching styles and methods, and came up with a game that really should take the place of rec ball. And I'm not trying to tell people that have rec organizations that I'm coming after you. I'm just saying that there are opportunities where, everybody can play a game called Remerball. And in this game, you will have a lot of opportunities for success. It's a very, very safe environment to play in. It's a very positive environment. It's a very active and encouraging environment. And the gameplay itself is geared towards every individual player. Like, I don't know how you can be watching this and believe that we actually cater to every player when they come up to the bat, but I can assure you that's what the game is built and designed for, so that everybody that shows up, whether you're a travel ball player, whether you're select, rec, t-ball, never played, don't even play sports, you play every sport but you don't play baseball, Remer Ball is for you. Equipment, we got it. Level the playing field. They provide all the equipment that we need. You don't need to have the latest and greatest. All you got to do is show up and we will take care of the rest. So, as we begin our topic tonight in Remer Ball, I wanted to go along some of these slides that I've come up with. Again, this has been about 8 or 9 years I've been putting together different systems, camps, coaching clinics, programs, all designed to just help develop players. And again, that word develop, there's got to be a better word. Hopefully next podcast I come up with it. But truly develop. We actually do develop players, not just physically, but socially, emotionally, mentally. It's a lot of fun. And they're playing a game while they're doing it. They're literally just playing a baseball game. So we're going to go ahead and jump into these slides, and I look forward to bringing you into this new and exciting world of baseball for everybody, literally. Roberto Clemente. I got to start with number 21. Even though Dominique Wilkins is my favorite basketball player of all time, and he's number 21, that's not why I like Roberto Clemente. My senior year of high school, I actually got selected to go and play in Puerto Rico for the Roberto Clemente All-Stars. And it was such a great adventure to go to a different place. My senior year was when I finally kind of exploded on the scene in the baseball world. So it's just one of those other moments that I was grateful to be able to go and play and compete. Not only that, I went down there and I got MVP of the tournament. I even got robbed of a home run. I hit the ball over the fence. The guy jumped over the fence. He caught it, came back, and he was out. So I could have added another home run, but be it as it may, Roberto Clemente is one of those baseball players that's just more than a baseball player, and that's what I consider myself as well. All right, some people think I'm just a baseball coach, but what I do is I bring in a staff all around me of people that are either teachers as well or some sort of community motivated liaison that knows baseball just as well as the next person. So Roberto Clemente, thank you. At any time you have an opportunity to make a difference in this world and you don't, then you're wasting your time on earth. Now, I'm not trying to be too dramatic, but at the same time, this is what Remer Ball is. It's an opportunity to make a difference in the world. There's 2 organizations local that have a waiting list for rec ball. All right, to make a difference in this world. Well, if there's people waiting to play, and I know how to, and I have fields, I have games, I have equipment, I got coaches. Come on over and let's play a game. And as a matter of fact, you're going to develop more in these games anyways. It's going to be cheaper. You're going to have professional coaching. That's making a difference in this world. Here are some pictures of last summer's pickup games at Wheaton Regional. Wheaton Regional is ranked, it was ranked number 1 in the state last year. I'm not sure when the updated rankings are, so don't quote me on it being like updated as of today. But, you know, as you can see from the pictures, or if you've been there before, there was even a viral video recently out of this guy that just crushed a bomb to dead center field. If you look on the top right, you see the Wheaton Regional Park. This guy just crushed it over that fence. We're going to have to find that video, Renee, because this guy hit a bomb, and it's viral. So Wheaton Regional was put on the map. If you see in the pictures, we modify the game. We do have the ability to, make adjustments as we see fit based on the numbers of people. Tonight was more of an exhibition night up there where I just invited a couple people to try out some things. So we turned the field around and we hit the ball over the backstop so that we had a shorter porch for a home run. So, ideally we're not going to play this on a regional field. We just did it for these pictures. So we didn't actually do it that night. But, as you can see, Remerball can be played in all different types of environments, right? So we can make use of a field anywhere and still have a legitimate game. These are some pictures right here of the summertime pickup games, as well as the official Remerball games that we did on the weekends. So we do have the opportunity for you to play in a season. We have open registration right now. It's $150 for the whole season, including 2 pre-season workouts where we go through some stuff and then we select the teams based on that. So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, kids are learning. You don't think a rec ball is like having a tryout situation, and it's not like serious like a tryout, but if we see how you play, we can make the teams more appropriate. And last year, 7 of the first 8 games of Remerball in the season came down to the last play. We had walk-offs in 7 of the 8 first games of the season. So there's a lot of benefits to the game, including the fact that me as the pitcher, I can kind of manipulate it a little bit where we keep the games competitive. We don't want to have the games end up being, double-digit victories. So, sometimes a ball might be foul, but, it looked fair from here. You know what? And that's the call, and that's what the umpire calls. So, we adjust the rules of the game to, again, cater to the situations and also cater to individuals. Last fall, we had the opportunity for Burtonsville Athletic Association, to do a family fun day at Blair High School. So I ran out Blair High School, field number 2, the softball field, which is another one of the top fields in the county. We did a little pickup game of Remerball. Got 5 stars. I mean, they gave me 5 stars who wrote this, but I'm going to take 5 stars when I can get them. Then in the middle slot, it's a sad ending to a wonderful summer of pickup baseball. This young man was from out of town, so he didn't know a lot of players, but he came in, had a great time, made most of the games, because there's flexibility, right? Especially when we do the pickup games. And just had a great time. He was able to meet some new friends and had a competitive experience while he was at it. I mean, even though there's no standings and end of the year competition and playoffs, we do have a championship in the season. But for the pickup games, it is what we always want it to be, right? We have coaches out there that are always saying, man, kids don't play enough pickup games. They don't go out and play wiffle ball. They don't go out there and pick up with their friends. Well, guess what? Instead of making excuses, we made Remerball. All right, this is the ultimate go outside, kids. Let's play this pickup game, but it's ran by people that know what they're doing. It's ran by people that are going to present themselves in a way that not one person is going to decide to argue the whole day, because if they do, they're going to look like you could fill in the blank. No one's going to argue if we're out there running these games and we're like, hey, great job, get it next time. Way to move your feet. Remember, 2 hands. Next time, if you want to throw harder, what do? That's right, shuffle and throw. So this constant instruction, it doesn't take away from the time of the game. The pace of the game is faster than anything you've ever seen, but it's controlled And again, it's fair play. We're going to pitch to each player based where they're at. Some kids might swing at strike 3, but you know what? If that ball is this far off the plate, that's not fair. That's not strike 3 for a kid. All right, that's not even strike 3. High school kids have a hard time understanding the strike zone. College guys, we all have trouble understanding the strike zone, right? So why are we holding beginners to this standard where they have to know what a strike is? So if strike 3 is out of the zone and they swing, here, one more. Throw it over the plate, kaboom, things are happening. On the right is a picture from my coach from Howard University, who he's always got love for me and my family, and he's going to be on this podcast. I actually told him, so he's excited about that. But he's always giving me props. I don't even know why it's in this Remerball slide, but that was me holding one of my twins. I don't know who it is from here. I apologize to you guys, but that was when I was coaching the Thunderbolts. Little pregame BP. Guess I didn't care who was hitting right there because I wasn't watching. No, I always care. Here's a little slide of the end of the game. It's just a pickup game, right? But it's the summertime. The weather's so nice at nighttime. We're under the lights in the number 1 field in the state. We got an incoming high school stud up to bat, ready to win on a walk-off. Fly ball to right field. He's going back, and Isaiah makes the catch. As you can see, man, a win is a win. It's a pickup game, but I still feel like pickup games, those victories are a lot sweeter than just like a regular team game. I don't know. That's just what I'm experiencing with Remerball. I mean, when I play wiffle ball with Mike, with North Shore, for my fantasy baseball podcast, when we play wiffle ball, it's the most intense games. When you hit home runs, it's a home run. Like, you could picture people in the stands. Anyways, Remerball is just that feel, right? I mean, there was literally 1 out left. He had the opportunity to win a game, a game they've been playing for an hour and 25 minutes. He hits a fly ball to Isaiah, who hasn't played baseball since I coached him in high school, 10 years ago. Just came out to support and to, play some ball, because this game is designed for even old people that haven't played for a while. I can't give away all the secrets right now, but I'm giving you a great visual of just all the different ways and all the different types of people that would really benefit from playing Remerball, as opposed to playing on a rec team, playing on a travel team, playing on a select team, because they're getting more development than any of those teams. Renee, man, who am I to say that, right? That's a very bold statement. Even saying it, I was like, okay, but that's what it is. I mean, it's, if you have a child that plays baseball or doesn't, or just plays a lot of sports and you want them to play, then you have the perfect place to send them. And Isaiah even said after the game, man, I wish I played that in high school. I probably would have had a better season. And he's not the only one that has said stuff like that. As a matter of fact, we do have a former player from my camps who played Remerball, who went to college his freshman year and only struck out 7 times the whole season and ended up getting All-American. And he attributes a lot of that to Remerball. He's going to be on later. When I used to run the Thunderbolts camp years ago, I don't run it anymore. I know some people still sign up and they think that I'm running it. But they have some great coaches over there now that do it. But when I used to coach there, Thunderbolts in 2014, this young man had his love of baseball showing, even in 90-plus heat. He doesn't want to stop playing. Well, at every camp that we run, we play at least 2 Remerball games a day. All right? And as I continue on this podcast, I'm going to explain what really goes in to the game. Because when you're hearing someone's playing 2 games a day, aren't their arms going to be so tired? Like, what? It's a lot of standing around. So I can understand if off the bat you turned on, you pressed this link, you found this link, you pressed it. Like, what is Remerball? And you have this guy saying that it's, oh man, anybody can play, just bring them on. But as you'll see, there's a lot of nuances to the game that have been identified, that have been tested over and over again. We've been doing this game for a long time now at camps, and we've done it for different organizations. I did it when I was a high school coach for practice, and I've seen nothing but positive growth each time I've done it. It's amazing. It's amazing. We're going to go through a little bit of these slides. But again, there's just some quotes that I've seen that I can sit here and tell you stuff, but people are saying stuff all the time. I don't know how much research people are doing. If you're tuning in the podcast today, if you're one to look up a lot of stuff and you already know these things, that's great. Maybe this reinforces it, right? Just like we tell a kid when we coach them, if you're hearing the same thing over and over again, it's probably because it's right. Or it's wrong, I guess, but mostly it's right, I would think. So here's a quote from Don Mattingly. This is a game of competition and adjustments. It's not showcases or spring training games. What worries me is that we're evaluating on some of the wrong things. You can't evaluate a player simply by exit velocity or launch angle and things like that. Hitting is about situations and adjustments to how you're being pitched. I mean, these are not secrets. These are well-known facts about the game, but these are facts that baseball players talk about, right? And we have a lot of debates. This might be a controversial podcast because I'm kind of going at it with a lot of confidence, but I got a lot of stuff to back it up with. So I'm going to town tonight. I feel good. But Don Mattingly, again, he's an old school guy, so of course, Remerball is an old school game. Like I said before, it's kids going outside playing a pickup game. It's just being structured and being moderated by, someone that knows what they're doing. So that's the only difference that I've seen. I love these two quotes. All right, but I'm going to skip over to the Mookie Betts one to the right. All right, baseball is a game of adjustments. You have to be mentally sharp to recognize patterns, make quick decisions, and adapt to the different situations. If people are just going to camps, they're just going to hitting coaches, they're just playing games. But by playing games, it's 1, 2.5, or 3 hour game. If they play a doubleheader, it's like 5.5 hours of baseball. But it's the at-bats that we're talking about. Remerball, where the differentiation comes, is the number of at-bats in a game. And not just at-bats. We're talking quality at-bats. So if you know coming into this, just like Mookie's talking about, all right, you have to pick up on these patterns. The patterns come from the repetition. Well, if you're playing on a baseball team and you're up to bat and the first pitch is a ball over my head, second pitch is a ball behind my back, third pitch is a strike because it was over my head and the umpire said that was close enough. And the fourth pitch was a strike because you swung because it was over your head because you thought it was going to be called a strike. And then the next pitch, you get the idea. How are you going to recognize patterns if that's what you're seeing on a consistent basis? Once a week, maybe twice a week. How is it going to be a pattern if you're going in a car, you're driving to a far destination in traffic, to get out, to face that type of pitching, to be in that situation where you're not even going to get better, you're just playing games. You're just playing games. Remerball is different. Remerball, the games are going to be where you are. They're going to be in the neighborhoods where you live. You're going to be getting pitches that are in the zone. Me, my coaches that are trained, that go through a process to really want to do Remerball right. Like, we understand that you can go out there and play this game without the Remerball model. But if you really want to do it right and affect the whole environment of the game, the fans, the spectators, the parents, the coaches, the players, the volunteers, you got to keep the volunteers engaged and encouraged. And that's definitely going to be something we talk about as we go. All right, but you got to pick up on the patterns. If we're throwing pitches right down the middle and you're getting 5 to 8 at-bats in a game, I call that patterns. All right, to the left, Kevin Youkilis. We all remember him with his unique stance, but the boy could hit. All right. Larry Bigby, who I've actually met a couple times because I do League of Dreams events, and he's also one of the coaches for League of Dreams events, especially when we go up towards Baltimore. So shout out to you, Larry. How you doing? But Kevin Youkilis said, youth baseball has lost the focus of what makes players great. Today, there's a constant focus on individualism, more velocity, more power, more games, more rings at tourneys. Did we talk about that yet? I guess that's coming up next. Have we talked? I don't remember. I love that. More rings at tourneys. Man, I love that. I cannot wait to talk about that one. Young ball players need repetitive drills, a strong focus on being fundamentally sound, and coaches that build confidence. It's a beautiful game that needs more educators over marketers looking for a payday or the next big gig. Surround your young ball players with people that focus on fundamentals and your child's growth over their self-interest. All right, you got two of our campers right here. Both ballers. They both finished top 2 in the home run derby. This was the home run derby. Remerball, as you can see, we play games on football fields. I know there's a lot of push going in that direction now. I'm not going to say that we started it. Again, here's my confidence. But the truth is we had been playing this Remerball game on football fields for a few years. Just have not had the ability, like we talked about before, to have this podcast be able to present it out there so people know about it. This is just a little description of Remerball. Just one of the one sentence. What is it? And trust me, it's very hard to keep this thing short. If you are out there and you want to help me with making it crisper, I would really appreciate it. And I will coach you up. All right. Oh, man, this brings back great memories right here. Summer camp. Remerball on the field. It looks like there's no defense, so he probably got a base hit. But even if there were people out there, he would get a base hit. Elijah is a beast. He's in college right now. He's at JUCO down south. I'm so happy for him. Elijah is actually the young man I had talked about that I was teaching with his mom, and we would go in the hallway and hit the little wrapped up paper balls with the yardstick. And now he's in college playing ball. It's a beautiful thing. He played a lot of Remerball. And again, let me just be clear. I'm not saying that Remerball is the reason why people go on. We never know the correlation of things. So I'm not ever going to say that Remerball is the reason that people have success in baseball. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make sure you know that. However, there are a lot of reasons why it 100% has helped people be successful at the next level. Coach those out there, eyeing them down. Remerball is so much fun for the coaches. That's part of it too. We actually have just as much, if not more fun than the players. I mean, we're having a ball out there because it's that type of environment. All right. We don't want to strike the kids out, but at the same time, we want them to strike out and then adjust and show us how they come back. We wanted to see that toughness that we try to instill on the players. So, yes, we do bring the heat. Coach Zoe and I have had some heated Remerball games over the years. Adults, if you're interested, if you play baseball, but let me not be a salesman because I've never been trained. All right, but I played 18 and over baseball leagues for a long time. We won 11 of 13 championships. We were great. But I don't want to go out there right now and play double headers on a Sunday and get 4 at-bats, right? We just talked about that. Or 6. I don't even want to get 6 at-bats. That's still not that much. Well, you show up to a Remerball game under the lights at Wheaton Regional and you get 8 at-bats in the game and you have a chance to hit home runs. There's just so much to it. If you want to play baseball, but you really don't want to actually play baseball and play on a team and go through all that craziness, you just want to show up, have a good time, and play the game and not be judged and just be encouraged. This is I'm a Facebook friend of this pitcher. I'm not going to claim that we are boys, although I think we will get along. I would hope so. But there's a lot of quotes. There's a lot of athletes that have similar quotes. I'm not going to read through all of them. All right, but the quote that's right out here, I am going to read, because if you can't see it, I guess I should read it to you. Here's the quote from Mr. Marvin Freeman. I didn't have success before I had confidence. First of all, I got to believe I can do it. And then when I believe I can do it, that success just reaffirms and makes that confidence grow. Building confidence. Remerball, when players leave the field after games, there's going to be players that are sad they lost. There's probably going to be a couple heads that are down because they struck out too many times, or I made a horrible call, because I'm definitely going to make horrible calls every day. So that's okay with me. But they're all going to leave believing they're baseball players. And like I said, we've had kids that show up for the first day. And again, we always have equipment. So if you show up, you're gonna if you want to keep playing, you're gonna walk away with bat, helmet, glove, and then we'll follow up later with some cleats. But they walk away believing that they're baseball players. And I'm not saying that to say that they're not baseball players. I'm just talking about the word belief, right? We're playing the game. It's a challenging game. We're pitching the ball to actually try to strike kids out. We're making calls that they're going to disagree with. You know what? Sometimes we make calls, and I probably shouldn't say this because if any of the kids are watching, but sometimes I make calls that aren't the right calls because I'm doing it to keep the pace of the game, right? To keep the flow. Sometimes I got to just help a team out sometimes. So the game really is geared towards making this a very honest game, right? Because nobody wants to watch a game that's 15-run differential. That's just not as fun as these 1-run games. So, but they have to have the confidence, and they do. All right. And I can't give away everything, but I can just assure you that the type of game that we play and the equipment that we use is different. I'm just going to leave it there. The equipment that we use is just a little bit different than the regular baseball equipment. All right. But it's still a real game. You'll see it in videos. It's still the same style of play. So very unique, but it's very basic. But when you put it together with this coaching manual that's been put together that really kind of breaks down the situation so that every situation is a learning situation. Now, we don't stop the game all the time. I don't want you to think that we're out there to prove, oh man, in this situation we do this and every play. No, we don't. We do have 2 coaches in the field. We have a coach that's pitching. We have a coach in the field. So we're working with base runners, positioning. So we'll stop sometimes, especially on something big. We're not going to penalize kids for not knowing to go back on a pop-up. If they're just learning how to play the game and the ball's sitting there and they run and the outfield catches it and they don't go back to first and they're out, I'm not going to call a double play because it would never be a double play in a regular game. So again, we're really also instilling upon them how to play the game right? It's not going to be a double play as you get older. So let's not even worry about that right now. This next quote is pretty overused. But again, the game that we play allows us to emphasize this type of mentality to the players. Right? Everybody knows the quote. They know in baseball, it's not physical size, but heart size, skill sets, baseball IQ that matter most. We've heard that. We've heard that many, many, many times. But who does something about it, right? What travel team, and there are really good travel teams. I'm just saying in general, right? Like what our travel teams, let me put it that way, our travel teams really, really honing in on getting each player to gain this confidence, to gain that baseball IQ on almost a pitchly basis. Every pitch, there should be baseball IQ chatter. There should be some sort of question and answer should be happening. If it's not out loud, it should be within themselves, maybe between 2 players, watching the game next to the fence, talking about what might be happening. And in Remerball, that's what we do. We keep the players engaged. The teams have to be continuously talking. Defense has to be continually saying how many outs there are, where the play is. Again, it's not going to be every single pitch where we're like, how many outs, where we play? Because over time, again, I used the word safety earlier. It's not just physically safe with the equipment that we modify. is mentally safe, right? Kids know that they can mess up and not be ridiculed. We can stop the game. We can make it so that the kid gets another chance to make a play. I mean, there's a lot of different alterations we make, again, to teach the game. And if the other players kind of see that we stop for particular situations, then they'll understand that those situations are very important ones. Man, coach stopped the game for this? A rundown? The rundown's not even that important. Well, for that day, that might have been one of the topics we wanted to cover. Each day we have topics we cover. How many coaches have topics they want to cover at regular baseball games? All right. Again, I'm not throwing blows out here. I'm talking generically, right? Generically, how many coaches are going to go out there with part of their lesson plan, part of their coaching philosophy to be, hey, how do we get the kids to really develop these skills within this game? We've all been coached, right? You go to coaching seminars, you read books about it, you research baseball and coaching enough, or parents in baseball, right? We don't want to overcoach in the game. As a matter of fact, you don't even want to coach in the game, right? You're not supposed to go up there and coach the kids during the game. That's kind of like the coach's Bible book, right? It's just, if you hear a coach doing a lot of coaching during the game, in my mind, I know I have an advantage over that coach because my kids are just playing the game, and we're going to go hard at them while they're trying to think about what to do and talk it out, right? So it adds a different dimension, too, of, if you're confident in your team and your practice, right? If you prepared for the games properly, and it's hard when you coach a team. You might have one practice a week. You got a lot to do. So, again, I'm not going at you. I'm just giving you the mindset of what separates Remerball from a regular baseball team that you might be yearning for and being on the wait list for. And again, no shots to organizations, but if there's a wait list for kids to play, let them come here and actually play. Do it for the kids. Do it for the families. But going back to this quote, all right, the best part about Remerball is we instill this toughness in kids. Again, this modified equipment, can't give away all the secrets, but the modified equipment allows for the game to still be played at 75% of like a baseball feel. All right, bases are going to be a little bit smaller to promote a little more quickness, a little more fast twitch thinking, fast twitch muscle movements. But competing, commitment, toughness all come from within, right? It comes from within if you're playing the game a lot, if you're getting encouragement to take those risks, right? Hey, way to dive, get that thing next time. As opposed to a coach in a regular baseball game being like, why did you dive? Keep the ball in front of you. All right, Remerball provides coaching that's literally geared towards positive reinforcement. In my mind, the only times, just like with a kid, if you have kids at home, you understand. But I'm gonna yell if something is dangerous. If something is dangerous, I'm gonna raise my voice. All right, if something is really detrimental to the whole team, I'm gonna raise my voice. Other than that, if you're swinging a bat in the hole, I'm gonna yell at you because there's no space for that in some of these fields we're playing on. So that's a safety issue. But as far as gameplay goes, none of the coaches that run Remerball are going to be yelling. Now there's going to be parents that are yelling, but that'll stop quick. The vibe, right? The vibe is real. The energy is real. We got Coach Jake out there, Coach Zoe, we got me, we got the Heffley brothers up there, Ian and James. We got a whole bunch of guests. Marty Costas was Remerball coach last year. Like, we got pro guys coming in, special guest appearances, college players, college coaches, just a plethora. I got that word from Three Amigos. I never actually looked it up, but I think that means a lot of. We got a lot of different coaches, man. And again, as this game expands, which it should expand, because again, the differential between a regular baseball game and Remerball, as you'll see, as I go through some of these rules and some of these daily objectives and outcomes, you will see that there's a lot more to this game that engage the players, the volunteer coaches, the volunteer players that are out there, and anybody in the stands. And I actually can guarantee that. And I know that sounds crazy. Renee, I'm really not trying to sound like But in my experience, like I said, every Remerball game we've done, people leave happy, and that's what I'm going at is, I'm excited, I'm confident, I'm very confident with Remerball because everybody leaves happy. There's this underlying understanding at the end of the game that everybody tried hard, they played the game. You're gonna win or you're gonna lose, and then you come back next week and you try again, and we instill that. We make that the concept. We make that the belief and how we roll when we're out there. All right. Remerball was also created because how many times have you heard this? Ready? How many times have you heard, man, these kids, they just don't even know. These kids don't know how to do anything. Or you hear like, oh man, these parents are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, both are true, right? But instead of just talking about all the time, we actually made this game to say, all right, let's just make sure when they leave each day, these are the things we're trying to minimize. We want coaches in the future to say, man, that kid has a great baseball IQ. That kid has a great mental toughness. He's committed. He's got heart. He wants it bad. He goes after it because he knows that if he's out psychologized, how'd I mess up my own word, man? Oh no, Renee, what's happening? No, I'm just playing. It's my favorite word of all time. I know you've tried it at home too. Out psychologicalize. And if they have this mentality, after Remerball for like 2 or 3 seasons, then you go to regular baseball. And there's a timeline to this, right? It all starts with T-ball. All right, I run T-ball for Montgomery County Little League in 2023 and now 2024. And we do a lot of similarities with that age group because, again, we got to make it fun. We got to make it engaging. We got to make it instructional. And we got to keep the volunteers active and engaged, right? They have to be excited and safe. So we have a lot of stations that demonstrate that safety, but also getting a lot of repetitions. Now, this quote right here, it sums up pretty much what everybody knows, right? It's probably the most boring statement I'll make on the podcast. All right, but here we go right here. You've heard this thousands of times. Thousands. This generation has so much private instruction that they don't know how to self-adjust without that angel standing over their shoulder. You're all alone on that mound or in that box, and nobody is going to help you. Learn to feel what your body is doing and adjust each pitch. I've had a lot of players, and they scare me. Coach, I'm telling you, Renee, they scare me, man. When I was coaching college, I would have some smart kids. I'm not saying it was kids that I'm not calling people out. I'm just saying these kids were baseball players, right? They played the game, they're in college. But then they would go up to bat, and they would be like, all right, first pitch, strike one. Next pitch, they chase it in the dirt. The next pitch. And they get out, and they come in and say, Coach, what, did you notice my elbow? Was my elbow too far up? Or like, was my, how was my leg? And I'm sitting here like, no, like, you let the first pitch fastball go by. Now, again, this goes back to the podcast Zoe and I had earlier, but again, the best teams in that league attack the fastball. So going back to Remerball, right? We're not doing private instruction. The kid's still going to be all alone on the box. When the ground ball comes to them, they're all alone. Fly ball alone. Running bases, they're alone. But if they keep feeling it, they keep playing it, they feel it, they realize, oh, I'm on second base. Oh, the ball's hit to the outfield. I can run all the way to third and to home. But they have to know that if we just go to practice and say, all right, guys, we're going to practice running from second to home, and then the ball is hit to the outfield, and they don't even pay attention to it because it's just practice. They're not going to learn. They're not going to gauge their own speed, their own ability to get those reads, right? But if you do it in a game situation, if they literally have to see the ball get down in the outfield, and then they got to run and score because they know that this run is going to matter to the standings, they're going to be learning. They're going to learn to feel those correct movements. All right, it's not in the batting cage. This is another part, and this actually is the great travel ball quote. I know Coach Zoe and I talked about this last episode. All right, but we cannot expect players to execute things in games that we haven't spent ample time working on. Catching fundamentals, pitchers executing pitches, PFP, pitchers backing up bases, rundowns, cuts and relays, situational hitting, controlling the running game, pop-up priority. Now those pretty much take up, what goes in the game, right? And the situations that are in the game that, these are momentum-changing plays, right? I mean, pitcher executing pitches, a walk is a momentum-changing play, a strikeout, momentum-changing play. PFPs, our video on the YouTube channel just came out the other day on PFPs. If those are not executed, that shows a huge weakness on the team, and that could be manipulated throughout the whole game or series if you play multiple games in a season. Pitchers backing up bases, again, that shows low baseball IQ. So if your pitchers are not moving, they cannot be on the mound after the pitch. After the play is over, they should be backing up somewhere. And again, good teams do it. They have to do it. Otherwise, players are being taken out. But if they're not doing it, you know what type of team they have. You know that you can take advantage of them on the base pass. You know you can take advantage of them with the bunt game. So again, just having a lack of any of these at some point in the game could be a difference maker for a good team, a good coach to say, look, they don't know what to do on PFPs. Let's do it there again. Let's really take them out of this game. That's when you get the coach to start yelling. You're like, yeah, the coach is getting mad. All right. But in Remerball, kids get better throughout the season. The first game, pop-ups may not they're just going to drop. Now, sometimes kids will catch the ball, right? And that's great. But again, if you've never played the game of baseball and all of a sudden a guy crushes this ball and is in the air, you're not supposed to go and catch the ball in the glove, right? Even expecting the kid to be close to the ball, because it's probably really scary the first time. Again, the modified equipment, it's always going to be safe. So it's not scary when you play Remerball, which is part of the cell, right? The amount of injuries are much less in this game because of the modified equipment and the way in which we can control the game and keep it safe. But yeah, in Remerball, they're not going to execute a lot of these. And guess what? We're probably not going to cover a lot of these during the games. And you wouldn't want us to, right? We want to keep the pace of the game. So it's not that serious where we're going through everything. But we're at least going to mention stuff here and there, right? The more that they hear the different parts of the game, then as they get older, like we talked about earlier in this podcast, if you hear about, hey, the pitcher should not be standing here, just go somewhere, try to figure it out, figure out where you might want to go to back this play up. Think about where the ball is going to be thrown. Wink, wink. And then stand 10 feet behind that person. And you just say it. You're not going to stop the game for these types of things. But again, over time, they're going to play enough games where guess what? They're going to start naturally doing these things. I wish I could gamble and make a legitimate bet that we could actually prove, where it was like, if a PFP situation happened 8 times in Remerball and the same person was on the pitcher's mound, well, I would bet that even after probably the second or third time, because of the safe environment where they know, oh yeah, next time I'll just do it. Well, maybe they forget the next time, but then maybe not. So maybe 2 times later, they get it. Whereas, just like you might have seen in our PFP video on the YouTube channel, it took those kids a couple times to do it because it wasn't in a game situation. It wasn't in a pressure situation where they had to actually execute the play for a reason, right? So Remerball presents a lot of situations that, yeah, you can go over these in practice, right? You can do drills on these things, but if you're feeling it in the game, but you're being positively reinforced, it's going to make the kid want to make the play again next time. And again, this is just what we've seen over and over and over again. But this is what we have not seen when we've coached regular baseball teams. And I've been guilty of it. All right, for some reason, there's expectation. The coaches go to the games. You either got to yell at the kids, sit there and be quiet, or coach during the whole time. And it's really hard to find that balance in between. Because again, you're told not to coach during the games. But what makes Remerball different in that regards is that we're not like coaching them up through the games. We're more guiding them through the situations. And we're teaching everybody. So think of a large group instruction. Another quote that I found. Average college players spend 3,000 hours on their game in 4 years. Only 4% of that is spent on actual gameplay. You need mental and physical stamina, toughness, and a willingness to work, regardless of success or playing time. You have to love the process of what it takes to compete. All right. And again, some of these, I'm just finding these random quotes. So I'm not saying I went through the scholarly journal articles like I had to in grad school. I'm just talking about, I find these quotes and I just think they're interesting and I want to debate about them. But if only 4% of that time is spent on gameplay, this is just a tough one to fathom. It's hard for me to conceptualize what all these numbers mean as far as time and games. But, Remerball, in an hour and 15 minutes, we're playing 7 to 9 innings. In an hour and 15 minutes, we're playing 7 to 9 innings. That's crazy. Kids are getting 5 to 8 at-bats during that time. Sometimes more. And this is on a 12-person team. So if we have a 12-person team playing a 12-person team, that's just about the average that we get. And again, there's a pace of the game that we hold the standard to. The players have to hustle in and out. There are consequences for not playing the game. I'm not going to say the right way, right? But not playing the game that has been ingrained in us from day one, right? The hustling on and off the field, the cheering on your teams, the determination, when you're up to bat to go up there and just swing, like go up there, swing and be aggressive. And I know on that one, it's funny, that one YouTube video that we put up on our site, I know someone have responded with, I bet you teach people to go after first pitch every time. I'm like, yeah, I do actually. Now, does that mean I really want you to swing at first pitch every time, even if it's way up here? Well, my answer is still yes, because again, kids can't really tell the strike zone just yet. Because if that ball is right down the middle and you have that aggressive approach, you're going to see a lot of success. But yeah, 4% to me just seems really, really low. And I wonder how much, you know what, Coach? I wonder what percent is the amount of time driving to games. All right. I love this quote. This is probably one of my favorites as a coach. Over 20 years experience. I started coaching high school when I was like 20. I've coached T-ball all the way up through AA baseball with the Bowie Bay Sox and the Orioles organization, right? Like I've coached every different level. And I love this quote. And there's so many examples of people like this. Every stage of athletics has its reality check. Great little league player doesn't equal a great high school player. Great high school player does not equal a great college player. And a great college player does not equal a great pro. Busts come at every stage. Great work ethic eliminates being a bust. I mean, it's definitely more than work ethic, right? Obviously, that's a big part of it, but Remerball provides the opportunity for kids to play even up through high school, right? There shouldn't be a timeline. I'm on the phone all the time. I'm looking at different, not podcasts in particular. I don't really watch as many, but different videos and shows and clips. But there's not a lot of times where someone could be 13 or 14 years old and never play baseball and then all of a sudden make it, right? However, there are a lot of instances, but people just don't realize that. People don't realize that you can start in the game a little bit later. And you're obviously at a little disadvantage, but this is why Remerball is a great fit for that situation. Because now if you just play these games, you're learning these situations. Think about that. In an hour and 15 minutes, you're playing 7 to 9 innings. So an hour and 15 minutes, you're getting almost 30 or more situations because, there's a lot of errors in this game. Although they do dwindle down as the season progresses, which is so addicting to see. Me and my coaches love it. The kids get better. Do they realize they get better? I don't know. They probably don't. The parents do. The coaches do. But you don't have to be a stud in Little League to make it. As a matter of fact, when I was recruiting, when I coached college, part of my job was recruiting players to come play for me in the summer. Right? And I would look up some of these kids in high school. Of course, most of them were really great in high school. And then I look at their college numbers, and some of them didn't have great numbers. They didn't play as much yet. But they were really good in high school, so, they were a good fit for the league. And then they would play for me, and we would talk. And I would see that some of those had similar stories to mine. I know for me in 8th grade, I was 4 for 44 in 8th grade. Struck out on a pitch way up here, just like I talked about earlier, to lose the playoff game that we just came back 5 runs down in that inning. Came back, and I swing at this pitch. And I was 4 for 44 that year. Right then and there was no way you could have told me I was going to go play Division I baseball. There was no way you could have told me I would have been a coach as I got older. Right? And it wasn't Remerball that saved me because that wasn't a thing. But I did play a lot of wiffle ball. I did play a lot of tennis ball, baseball. And when I did that, when I played those games, it brought me into this different zone that I don't usually get into in a baseball game. When I'm playing wiffle ball with North Shore for my fantasy baseball podcast, he's throwing sliders that I didn't see since 2003 when I played college. And when the slider breaks and I get one, I'm not going to lie, I can't hit sliders. But when he throws me fastballs and I hit it, when I see the ball going over the fence, it rejuvenates me as a player. All of a sudden, I'm like, man, I can hit home runs. But it sounds silly, right? Because I'm talking about hitting a taped-up wiffle ball with a taped-up wiffle ball bat at some random distance. We didn't even measure it. On the field with the fence. And I hit a home run because I'm pretending to be like John Olerud or something. And I literally feel like I'm a home run hitter in real life. And you do that enough, you play outside enough, and it's good competition, right? Everyone I played, all my friends growing up were phenomenal athletes. So when I was playing games, it was always competition. And, but I was not great as a player in middle school. But I ended up having a really good career. So, I do attribute that to going out and playing in the neighborhood, playing with pickup games. All right. I remember I used to face a kid in college when I was in 9th grade with tennis ball. And it scared me, and I was horrible. And then I had a teacher come out there, and he was really good. He was all-state. He played at Maryland. And he was out there striking me out and just kind of laughing at me. And, I was definitely jealous of him because he was just like a popular teacher, and he was a stud at baseball. But I was so mad that he was striking me out, right? And again, I'm striking out in the parking lot in the back of the school. It's not a real game, but just playing, just holding yourself accountable to have a quality at bat, a bat that's meaningful. All right? And having more of those. The more I had, the better I got. It was hard to strike me out in regular baseball because I'm playing this all the time with faster pitching, the ball's dancing everywhere. So I had to create that. Remerball creates that type of environment. Now, again, we're not out there throwing all those different pitches. However, if you are a player at a certain level, if you do play travel ball and you sign up for Remerball, we will be challenging you every at bat. All right, just as much as we challenge someone that hasn't played as much. And the best part about Remerball is all these people combined together. If you look at some of the videos that we have and some of the pictures from our past years of Remerball, you'll see age. You'll see different ages playing in the game. And it's beautiful, and it works out so well. All right, there's some times where like a 3rd grader will get a game-winning hit against a 7th grade infield. It's great. But again, it's those quality reps. You never know where a kid's going to end up being when they're older, but if we can get them at any level and build their confidence, give them these reps, coach them through, guide them through, then this quote does not apply to us. basic one on body language. You know, again, these kids are young. We're still talking about kids under 13. But again, Remerball is for every age. But in general, right? I mean, if in Remerball you do demonstrate some body language that's very poor, we're not going to make a spectacle out of it. Again, we are very understanding to the fact that families and kids don't always show up to the field with this mindset of, oh, it's a beautiful day, I can't wait to play a game. So, you know, sometimes we got to assess the situation at first before we make a move. However, you know, there is a time and a place for behaviors, and we do have to hold them somewhat accountable. So it might be like an extra strike. It might be an out if they throw the bat or if they, you know, argue a call. But we try to, again, guide that player through better decisions next time, as opposed to saying 3 outs for everybody, and then the team hates that person. So again, we're really creating this game to really coach each player. We want that player to leave with some confidence. And guess what? With 7 at-bats in a day, they're going to get on base, and a great opportunity to score a run each game. I'm not going to say you're always going to get on base and score a run, but I'm going to say 90% of the time you'll get on base. Remerball is also about coaches. All right, we have an example. Actually, tonight we're going to hear from somebody. Isn't that right, Renee? We're going to hear from somebody who shows up and is like, hey, coach, I don't even know about baseball. And you want me to coach a team? And I said, listen, sir. Just handsome man, sir. Just listen to me for a second. Here's what you're going to do, and here's how we're going to help you. And as you can see by what I just told you, it could be as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. Do you want to put in a little bit more work to kind of make it your own coaching, you know, moment where you're actually practicing coaching and you're showing up with lineups and you're telling kids where to go? Or do you just want to show up and, you know, we can help you through that and help set a lineup and put kids in the right position? But Remerball is also a coaching clinic. We're building coaches' confidence just as much as we're building players. We're giving coaches the opportunity to get live game action without the responsibility of the entire game on their shoulders. Again, it could be as little or as much as as a coach would want. Well, this guy that we're talking about tonight never played baseball, but his son is loving it, right? He's like, man, my boy really loving I don't know why. I'm a basketball guy, but he's loving it. And I was like, yeah, I know, because baseball is fun. And he was like, yeah, coach, I know, but it's not baseball that's fun, it's Remerball. And I was like, coach, don't just come at me like that, man. It's my allergies right now. I'm not crying. And he's like, no, I'm serious, man. And he'll tell you about it, but it's a real thing. There's a difference between a regular baseball team and playing Remerball. And if you have a younger player, and younger, again, it's a real thing out there. There is a peer pressure of adults, right? People think by a certain age they should be playing on certain teams. No. Coach Zoe and I were talking about it all the time, and if you still have questions about it, let us know and let's talk about that, because the only thing you need is for your kid to have fun and want to play the game, willing to compete. This is what Remerball does. So, again, the coaches have an opportunity to grow, and this is part of our coaching program, our Coaches Academy. All right, we got another quote. To play this game with less tension, pressure, and anxiety, get rid of the batting average. When your definition of success is just on hitting the ball hard, you'll have more calmness, toughness, and focus. Well, we don't keep stats for Remerball. Part of the reason is it's too fast. It's hard to keep up with. But if the kid leaves the day knowing they got on base a certain amount of times and they scored runs, we're talking about on-base percentage and runs. I don't know about you, but as a coach, I'm looking for players that can score runs. All right, this is why Ronald Acuna is the number 1 pick in fantasy draft, because he's going to have, well, that's not the only reason, but he's going to lead the league in runs again. But getting rid of batting average, there's nothing more frustrating than hearing parents and kids talking about their batting average. Now, I know baseball is about numbers. All right, baseball is completely about numbers, and I'm a numbers guy just as much as anybody else, probably even more. I love numbers. I'm always talking numbers. But sometimes the batting averages are not true. My older brother hit 900 when he was in Little League. He still has the ball. It's like 900. Like, what? That's a setup for failure, right? If the ball takes a bad hop and goes away from the defender, that's a hit. But most of the time, it's going to be an error. An error is not a hit. So batting average goes down. But a lot of times, these stats for these teams are outrageous. I had a parent show me a stat one day. Hey, look, my son's average went up this year. And I looked at the team, and everybody was hitting like 800, 600. And I was like, man, yeah, your son is doing really well. Whew. Fantastic. I'm not going to say anything about that. But what's that doing? It's setting these kids up. I'm not sure the answer to that, right? I mean, you're going to have to get someone that knows how to score officially to do the averages, but that anxiety is real. That tension and pressure is real, right? These coaches are making decisions off of batting averages at younger ages. You got some guys that are just a little bit smaller, and their swing is aggressive. They're balanced. They're exploding through the zone, right? Got a nice little swing. But if they're not strong enough yet, they're not going to get selected for those teams that are, the higher level teams because they just don't have that body weight behind it yet. So the batting average is going to mess with them. They're going to think they're not that good, but guess what? They're actually going to be great. So what Remerball does is it takes some of those small guys and says, come on out, man. Come on out. Let me challenge you with some pitches. And why don't you come out here and have some success and watch that ball go. And as you continue to play, you continue to get these reads, right? As a hitter, we're always taught to look for the soft focus and the hard focus. So guess what? This player that has this higher level of IQ than most of the players out there, we're going to hold them accountable. Hey, soft focus, hard focus right here. Let's go. Remember, with 2 strikes, we can throw any pitch we want. So now we're altering the game just for this one kid. But guess what? That's baseball. You're supposed to attack before you get 2 strikes. And then 2 strikes, you go up there and, that's where you have different philosophies. I say stay aggressive. Some people say protect the zone. I still don't like that one. But yeah, I mean, again, Steve Springer's right. And baseball players understand that, right? Even though it's hard to swallow, when you go up there and you crush the ball, you hit a line drive, and the left fielder full extension, like da-da, right? You're like, man, smoke that ball. But then you're out. Your batting average goes down. If you're worried about the batting average, it's going to be a long season. All right, a lot of quotes. Deion Sanders, minority baseball prospects. But I want you to understand that, as we go through some of these slides, and not all these slides are for it. Here's a picture to the left there. That's actually, that was at camp when I used to do Thunderbolts camp. But again, I do this Remerball game at my camps as well. That was a game-winning hit. He had the championship game, and that's the picture right before he hit it. All right, and this kid, I know him personally. This is my boy, Alex. Alex never went to hitting instructor. I mean, I worked with him a little bit, but when it was more Remerball than anything else. And look at that form. Look at those mechanics. I mean, obviously, you can always say something about people's mechanics, but for someone that hasn't played that much in the championship game, go up there swinging, man, that's magic. But in a regular baseball game, who knows what position he'd be in right now, right? Would that have been, would he have been up that? I mean, who knows, right? We never know. We can't speculate that, but you're going to have a lot of opportunities to be in big situations, and that's huge. On the right here, the middle and the right, another nighttime game. Now, there are some safety precautions we do take. I know some of these pictures, like right now, the catcher doesn't have the mask on. Again, some of these were taken just for the photo. We're not actually going to let people go out there and not have the right gear on, but you get an idea of the vibe. I mean, it's people show up, we make the lineups. Now, some people do pay for the whole season. This year, we do have to charge. I wasn't Fortunate enough to get a grant like I got last year, so it's definitely a little bit more of an official season where it's going to be beneficial for you to sign up ahead of time and sign up for the long term. Just because if we run out, if enough people sign up, then the pickup games, we might have to adjust and maybe do another time, another field. But for right now, it's only going to be those certain time slots on Tuesdays, which we'll talk about later. Here's some more pictures of the night game. You can just see, it's just just a great energy. You can just see the vibe in it right there. Little speech at the end. I never know how long to talk. I know I talk too much, but you got to give information at the end of the game, right? Especially when the pace of the game is so quick. At the end of Remerball, you really got to find a few minutes to go over some of the minor details. Maybe some of the kids were doing the same things over and over again. It's a good time to kind of talk about it and then say, all right, cool, guys, next week, we're going to be called out for this because too many of you did it tonight. We got to, so I kind of use the end of the day to talk about what our next week's strategies are. And each week we come in, part of the Remerball coaching manual is, you come in each week with certain, not topics, but look-fors, right? There's certain look-fors where, all right, this week, if they don't run through first base, they're going to be called out. And then you make it that mission for that week. In the first 15 minutes of each game, we go over a certain skill set, and then we definitely hold them accountable that day. So the first day, for instance, first 15 minutes, we go over running through first base. And if they don't do it correctly in the game, we're not going to call them out the first time. We'll make them go back halfway, do it again. Then they do it. We're like, safe. And the crowd goes crazy. It's great. It's great. But again, now if the number 2 batter goes up there and doesn't hustle it out, we call him out because he just saw, or he or she just saw that person get called out, had to do it again, and then was safe. So sometimes it's some tough love, but we provide the tough love that, parents definitely look for, right? Parents always ask for that tough love. And without question, we bring it, but we also have, the key word is love. There's no doubt that everyone feels love when they're out there, that we got the best interest in the kids and them developing, but also having fun. One of the best parts about Remerball is we encourage this leadership, right? Not stereotyping. We have a leadership program, but again, another reason why a higher level kid would play. Sometimes some of the higher level players that come through, they don't talk that much, a little more reserved, but we have to get out of that comfort zone, right? If you want to be an elite player, you got to have this sort of like being an actor or an actress, right? You have to kind of come out of this comfort zone to show that you have that communication skill. You may not want to talk, but you have to talk. Because a Doug Remer is going to come in and take your shortstop position all day if it comes down to talking, right? But you're talking about meaningful situations. You're talking about different stuff, right? You're encouraging your teammates. So what this does, as you can see on the right, you got different age groups. So, some of these older guys might be tasked with, hey, man, you're the team captain today. Let's make sure your team stays positive. Just keep them up. And something as little as that goes a long way. A couple more pictures. The top left and the top middle are from the Wheaton Regional, the Tuesday nights. And then the right and the bottom are from camp. As you can see, we played different backdrops, right? The one on the bottom left, that little dude, he crushed that ball. But see, we flipped the field around so we can hit home runs that way. So we have different style of games. All right, one of the best parts about our camps, we don't necessarily do kid pitch with the Remerball right now. Again, the key word is the pace. We try to keep the pace going. But right here, we do give the kids a lot of free time, and they'll end up playing a game. So again, they're getting a lot more quality at bats, a lot more quality pitches, a lot more quality plays on defense, a lot more quality being in the ready position, base running, relays. But we have a coach, right? That's Coach James Heffley. He's a coach at Maryland. That's him right there, just hanging out, being an umpire, just having some fun. All right, but by us being there having fun, what are we providing? Well, To me, that looks like a bunch of kids going out to the field and playing a pickup game. But to me, it also looks like it's very organized and it's structured. Well, that's the definition of Remerball. Here are the different levels of Remerball. You know, T-ball and Remerball could be interchangeable. All right, that age group, they don't need to be hitting off a tee. I run T-ball for Montgomery County Little League. We're not going to use a tee. We might use it for a station because there are some kids that bring their aluminum bats and their helmets and they want to hit. So we might make a station to kind of please them. But for that age group, and you'll see video when we get out there in the spring, you don't need that stuff. You need the safe equipment and stuff to get them a lot of reps. Coach Zoe doing his thing. I cannot wait to get back out there this spring. So much fun. Then after T-ball, right? Then you have that hard. After T-ball, is it coach pitch? Is it machine pitch? What do we do? What do we do, Coach Remer? Well, again, Remerball, right? Let's just get him out there. Let's get him those reps. Let's give him the opportunity to meet kids from all over the area. All right, let's have fun. Let's have some success. And again, the modified equipment, as you can see in the pictures, is what allows the game to go fast, which allows the players to develop quicker than any other game that I've ever seen. All right, we got kids chatting it up in the dugout. Again, not different from a regular game. However, the vibe is different, right? They might even be in there playing with baseball cards sometimes. That's cool. Take a break. Look at baseball cards and then be ready to hit. We're not holding them accountable for like listening to everything and being up on the fence like they would in a regular game. All right, but they're in the game. We still keep them in the game. They're still expected to be listening for the most part so that they can still stay in tune with the game. But again, Remerball is really just about letting them have a little fun, enjoy the game. But when they're out there, when it's their time to shine, 100%. Go hard, get it done. Middle school with 1D. I did that on purpose because it was on purpose. My boy Yvonne throwing a strike. My boy X up there bunting. This picture was taken on Friday morning on the 5th day of camp. Every Friday morning. This is it's crazy. It's clockwork. Because every camp, when the parents come up, I'm like, hey, watch this. Watch. And we don't tell the kids to do it. They don't even know that we realize they do it. But they get so comfortable throughout the week. Their level of comfortability, confidence, and the ability to like have them mingle with all the players and other kids so that it's never cliques. We never have cliques at our camp. We make everyone play and get to know each other. But by the end, this was them just playing on their own. Again, we use a modified equipment. Can't give away all the secrets. So that ball is not going to hurt. But look at this pitching form. You can't tell me he's not trying to throw a strike. That's quality pitching. You can't tell me my lefty right here is not ready to try to make a play. He's blown. It's a bunt right now because he's a shortstop. And then look at my batter X, man. He knows he could hit Yvonne. But he decided to bunt. You all have been around baseball enough to know that kids don't like to bunt. But he has the confidence right now to go up there and try to sneak. And he's not that fast. I love his dude. But he's not the fastest player on this field at this moment. So the fact he's like, I'm going to lay down a bunt. This is what Remerball does. They played probably about 8 or 9 games that week. The first day we'll set up cones for positioning. They're gone by the second game. These kids are just setting up. They show up and they immediately go out there. And they do it well. And they do it controlled. And they do it with a sense of purpose that we all yearn for. We're always talking, how come kids don't go out there and do it? We didn't even give them the equipment. They went from the shed. They got the equipment. They took it to the field because they always know if they take the equipment, they can start using it. And they set this game up. And there's no arguing. Sometimes there's a little bit. It's not perfect, right? There's kids trying to figure out a competition. There's arguments. But they just do it, and it ends up being like this fun game. And I remember last year, it was about an hour before we even stepped in. Because they were doing the stuff that we want them to do, and they were just doing it. So, you know, a lot of success with this age. I mean, I guess it comes down to the fact this kid pitching right here, my boy Vaughn, is he getting better as a pitcher at this moment? And I think that if you're seeing this picture, you're going to say, yes, sir. My boy X at the plate. It's not the best bunting for him. He knows he's got to get lower in the zone, because if he's lower in the zone, that's a ball. He pulls the bat back, it's ball one. All right, fine. Let's stop being so technical, YouTube channel people. Although I do like it. Keep being technical so I can keep coaching you up. But he's out there trying to put a bunt down. Is he getting better as a batter? Absolutely. So we have kids just showing up, and they're both putting in work. When we're on this is me zoomed in on my camera. We're on the other side of the field, zooming in, sneaking on him. And we got the kid out there at shortstop. He's not in a ready position. But again, they could have been sitting in the dugout looking at their phones. We let them look at phones. They just don't have a lot of time to use it. And we also challenge them to look at stuff online. We show them where to go that's like a safe. Now that we have our YouTube channel, we'll obviously gear them in that direction. But this picture tells a lot about Remerball, because you play this game enough, you can now almost expect your kids and their friends to go out there and play this pickup game that we all the coaches, 90% of coaches, like, all these kids don't go out there and do it. There's these kids these days. Well, no, it's programs these days. And I'm not saying my program is better than the next. I am saying that I've seen success with this program every single time. So, I'm still hoping to continue to learn more about how to make it even better and a little bit more competitive. But for now, like I said, it's just the overall great environment. Now, like I said, it goes all the way up through high school. We shrink the field. All right, pitchers throwing gas. Now, again, this is not safe. This is more for the picture right now. All right, behind the plate is a Division I player, so he does have an awareness of what he's doing. So you kind of sometimes just say, all right, well, you kind of know what you're doing. But this game is legit. We're talking about you're facing almost 85, 90 miles an hour in a game situation with the defense out there. You still got to run the bases. You're learning the game. You're actually playing the game. It's just the different modifications. That's all. It's just a couple of different modifications. That's just one happy camper. And adults, look, if you're out there and you've been listening to the podcast, or you're tuning in to, because you got kids in the game and you're listening to this, but you still want to play, softball is not for everybody. Baseball is not for everybody. But if you have interest and you just want to play the game, you want to come out there and just try it and see what it's like to play a game. That's what Remerball does. And if you're real competitive, guess what? You still enjoy that game with that person that never played, because they might be on your team and they might get the walk-off hit. And you would never expect it, and that's what could happen. And that's what does happen. Or they could strike out and lose the game. That happens too. But it's all good because we're having fun. So whether you're a T-ball, whether you're an adult, and everybody in between, Remerball is the perfect middle to what everyone's expectations are, right? Well, my kid really wants to play rec because it's fun. He gets to play with his friends, and it's real easy, and it's chill, and we don't have to travel that much. And you got like, oh, it's travel ball. We got to learn and be great, and we got to go to college, and we got to get coaches to look at us. Well, I'm going to say this. College coaches are not going to look at you if you don't have baseball IQ. That immediately will check you off for certain things that you never thought about, or even worse, you've been told, but it's never been reinforced. Remerball reinforces those intangibles, Remerball reinforces the coaching points that are difficult for coaches to do because they don't either have the confidence to know it's the right thing to do, so they're not 100% sure, so they won't say something, or some coaches just don't know. So we have to provide that perfect middle ground of you're getting the instruction and even more instruction that you will at the higher level. Your kid's going to have fun and play with his friends. You still get that. You don't have to travel that much because everything's going to be right here wherever we set it up in the neighborhoods. But you're getting more at-bats than you would. So literally the list is longer for Remerball than a regular baseball game. And I do have that list for you. That's what it looks like. We use this as a strike zone sometimes, so if it hits it, there's no arguing. Because let's face it, whenever you do a pickup game, and coach, you're a basketball guy, it's always arguing. This little net right here shuts the argument down. All right, here are some benefits of Remerball. I've talked a lot about it tonight. I've made references. I probably said the same thing over a few times, and I apologize. I get really excited. It's safer than a regular baseball game. 100% is safer. I know this picture looks scary, but the kid did not get hurt. As a matter of fact, didn't even flinch because of our modifications. He was safe, though, because you can't throw the ball at the person. All right, here's another younger video. I mean, in this picture alone, guy's running home. It's a ground ball. He knew to run home. This is like a 5 or 6-year-old. Third baseman's coming. Look at him charging that ball. He knows he has 3 or 4 seconds to get rid of the ball because one of the drills we always do is we count down from 3 or 4 seconds. So it's ingrained to them to know they got to move their feet, get the ball, and get rid of it. The batter is hot out of that box. He's like, no, you don't. And then we got the pitcher over there in the orange shirt, just like the PFPs the other day. He was going to go for it, but that third baseman probably called him off. All right? Just constant situations. A Remerball game looks just like this. This young man was such a delight to coach. That first at bat up there was a little bit timid because he saw the speed of the pitch that was coming in. Like, coach, I don't know about this. It's pretty fast. Hey, man, we got you. Look to the right. Home run. No joke. Dude hit a home run. This kid on the left thought he was going to strike out. Thought he was going to be embarrassed. Was like, why did my parents sign me up for this? The kid on the right, let's go. That's Remerball. That's the picture right there is what the kid coming in. Man, I never played this game before. I don't even know anything about baseball. The kid on the right, when's the next game? So as you can see, just in those slides, and that's still just a fraction of the gameplay and what goes in the game. And it's not to overwhelm you. Honestly, this is my job. My job is to do all these things so the game itself is fun for everybody. So we've talked about the players. I just spit a lot, man. That was kind of funny. Like I saw it go like, we talked about the players. We talked about the coaches. And lastly, man, our favorite conversation, the parents. I'm going to call them spectators, all right? Because it could be anybody walking by. Well, in all the Remerball games we've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years now for a league. I've had one coach that's just been constant, like, and I'm like, and I get it, right? I get it. There's rules to baseball. There's rules to major leagues. There's rules to little league. There's some similarities. There's differences, but there's rules. There's structure to the game. Otherwise, why is there a rule book, Coach Remer? Now, I like this guy. I love it. I always love a challenge, and I do like the fact he advocated for his team. But Remerball, rules are a little flexible, like I said before. The parents understand it. As a matter of fact, they love it. They love the fact that, like, Something's just about to happen. Oh, nice hit, nice hit. Nope, that was foul. Sorry. What? Oh, show me the ball. Show me the ball. And he's safe or out. Right? The parents live for these moments, and these moments are happening. They're happening frequently. Boom. Ball's hit to left field. Outfielder goes back. Is he going to catch it? Is he going to catch it? Boom, off the glove. Oh, no, sorry. Pick it up. Throw to second. They throw to second. Some random kids there catches the ball, and then the kid slides under the tag, right? Kid doesn't even tag him because you think they step on second base. Well, guess what? That was a great hit, great double, great hustle. Left fielder did a great job of getting under the ball. It hit the glove. Also, a way to get it in so quick. That was a beautiful throw. And the second baseman, way to be there, way to squeeze it. Next time, put the tag down. So in that one play, you've already seen, just in that one example, about 5 different positive reinforcements of just a random play. Whereas in a regular baseball game, let's revisit the same situation. Ball's flying left field. It's going back. It's off the glove. Pick up the ball. Kid picks the ball up. You don't know where to throw because people were just yelling to pick up the ball. And he throws to second base, and the kid catches it. And he's like, safe. He's like, put the tag down. Now, if the coach is saying put the tag down, what do you think the parents are going to say? Come on, put the tag down. And it's a ripple effect, and it goes. And I know if you're listening to this right now or watching this, I know you're probably smirking. You might even be laughing or chuckling at this point because you've seen it. Remerball eliminates that. There's no reason for it. If an experienced player such as myself or one of the coaches that run the game is being chill and cool and calm and just having a good time, that's also a ripple. That's also going to ripple around. And it's magical. And it's tough. It takes a certain person to really run this game the right way. Like I said, anyone can go out there, steal this game, and play it and try it. And it'll have benefits to it without question. But that small print detail, that just like I gave you with the fly ball, to turn a negative situation, we're talking about 4 or 5 different times in that one fly ball that's dropped that people could be yelling. And you take that, you flip that. Take those 4 or 5 negative comments, let's flip it. And now you turn into 6 or 7 positive reinforcement. All of a sudden, this whole game is changing. That kid knew, and those other players know, hey, man, if I hustle out of the box and I slide in a second on a routine pop fly and I'm safe, the coach is going to call me out for being safe and doing a great job. Hey, I know if I miss a ball, I'm going to go after it because if I miss it, he's still going to tell me I did a great job and that next time I got to do this. No big deal. And you're creating this environment, like I said from the beginning of this episode, the safety. It's not just physical. We're providing a chance for kids to fail just like they would in a regular game. But then they're also going to be guided into and supported from everybody. And you know what? If you think this sounds like babying, then Remerball is not the game for you because it's not about babying. It's not about being so nice and happy and no. Because we're still challenging you at all times. You're still being challenged. We're still expecting. That kid that dropped the ball, if he was able to get to the ball and it bounced out of the glove, then there's no reason why next time they can't keep 2 hands in there. So to add in at the end, to go, like I said, it was 6 or 7 positives. Well, the 7th one now is, hey, next time make sure 2 hands. Everybody, remember alligator, let's go, 2 hands, boom. Because we're still holding that level of accountability, right? That we still want them to make these plays. And again, because of the modifications of the equipment, the ball is not going to hurt the hand like a baseball would. The ball is not going to hurt the bat like a baseball would because of the modified equipment. So when people ask what's the difference between Remerball and baseball, a lot has to do with this modified equipment. But again, it doesn't change the game. It's still a baseball game. It's just designed to be safer, faster, more fun, more instructional than a regular baseball game. So every Tuesday night, we're going to have games at Wheaton Regional. As of right now, whenever you're hearing this podcast, today is February 28th, February 28th. Season starts in about a month. So if you get this between now and then, you have the opportunity to sign up to play in the Remerball League. It's only $150 for the whole season. It's worth a try. Remerball, in conclusion, is the perfect supplement. So let's just say right now you're like, yeah, but I've already signed my kid up. He's already signed up for, 1 or 2 teams this year. I know, I get that. I get it. All right. Trust me, I understand how the pressure of you getting on one team and, playing on a baseball team is cool. Of course, you play baseball. But to have the supplements, to know what you're going to get when you're going to show up, that's where Remerball becomes special because let's just say you have 2 games that week and you have a makeup game. And you're like, man, my boy just can't make it. They've had too much baseball this week. No, I get it. How many at-bats did they have so far this week in those 3 games? Oh, he's at like 8 at-bats. Why don't you get 8 more? You know what I'm saying? Or I guess I'm not going to promise 8. Why don't you come out and get 6 more the next game? It's tonight. And guess what? If his arm is hurting because he's throwing a lot, then no throwing tonight. Because Remerball, again, the modifications and the way that we present the game and we control the game in different areas to allow each player to have individual attention. If a kid can't throw that night because they're playing on a team and they're pitching or it's sore, then we modify the game. And then again, I can't give it all away right now, but it works. It works because you still work on a lot of other parts of the game, maybe just now throwing for that night. So it truly is the perfect supplement. It truly is an opportunity for your family to say, you know what, I can't spend a lot of money. I can't spend all this time traveling, going, in rush hour traffic in the DMV. Come on, nobody wants to do that. So if you're close to the area, the Silver Spring area, this is just one of those opportunities that I would encourage you to take advantage of if you have someone that's interested or that already plays. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're under the age of 13, even 14 or 15, bring them out. Bring them out. And we'll strike them out. Or you'll get a hit, and you'll get a hit off a fast pitch that you won't even see the whole season for whatever team you play on. Remerball.